Everyone to a brand new episode of the MMA Business Hour. In today's episode, we are going to discuss whether or not Conor McGregor is actually going to bring back his karate stance that brought him so much success all those years ago. Recently, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson did an interview about his time working with Conor on The Ultimate Fighter. Check out this clip and let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
His mindset was like this, like it didn't even happen. That injury didn't even happen. And he's getting back to his roots, his karate kind of like, he's never taken karate in his life, but he's trained with a lot of karate fighters. And that's kind of where he got that, his movement from. So for instance, when he fought Jose Aldo, right? His movement, his wide stance, his speed was on point. Like he's back to that, man. At a heavier weight, which is scary. And if you ever shook Conor's hand, the dude's got a bigger fist than I do. Like he's got a melon of a fist. I'm like, what the heck, man? No wonder he puts people out with that one hitter quitter punch. But he's back to his movement, man. You're gonna see a better. I think he's listened to the fans. You know, his last two fights with Poirier was kind of in that boxer mentality. He's got to get back to his roots of movement, and that's what we're gonna see from Conor next time he steps out there.
Is he a good coach?
Dude, he's a great coach and cares a lot about his guys. You know, he cares a lot about his guys. And that's fun to watch and see because me coming from that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And to be able to see Conor kind of share that, you know, I've seen a lot of guys teach and you realize real quick that they don't care about it, right? And I always tell people this when it comes to teaching, like people don't really care how much you know. You only want to know like how much you care. And that was kind of Conor the whole time.
Point. Yeah.
Like he cared about his guys, you know?
It seems like Wonderboy is convinced that Conor McGregor is definitely going to bring back that karate stance in his next fight against Michael Chandler. He thinks that all the fans coming at him for that, you know, in his fights with Dustin Poirier, he was in a very stoic, marching straight down the line right at his opponent. There was no elusiveness. It wasn't like the Jose Aldo fights or the Chad Mendes fights or even then some of the Nate Diaz fights where he is super elusive. He's bouncing forward, he's bouncing backwards, he's bouncing side to side, keeping that head movement. Against Dustin Poirier, he was marching straight forward, and Dustin Poirier was just able to sit in the pocket and pick him off with leg kicks, that nice stiff right jab, and that left cross. He was picking Conor apart in both of those fights. And that's mainly because Conor wasn't being elusive at all. He was just marching straight forward. And Dustin Poirier's boxing is so good, he was just able to piece Conor the fuck up. So, what do you guys think? Do you think Conor is going to be able to, you know, refocus his energy into that elusiveness? Because if he marches straight forward against Michael Chandler has that huge overhand right, and Conor's his chin is going to be there for the taking. So Conor's going to have to be able to be elusive. He's going to have to bounce from left to right, back and forth. He's got to get that head movement going again, because in that Dustin Poirier fight, you see him, he's really tense, and he just marches straight forward, and he's just trying to land the 1-2 and just land a big shot to end the fight. He's not, you know, using the counter punching. Conor's best attribute is his timing and his elusiveness. And he uses that elusiveness to set up those counter punches where he lands those huge shots that end fights. The best performance by him was probably the Eddie Alvarez fight, where every time Eddie tried to throw something, Conor had an answer. He was slipping. He was slipping left. He was slipping right. He was banging that left hand down the pipe. But it all came from that karate, that side karate stance, where he's able to gauge where the punches are coming from and then react accordingly. I really hope that Conor can get back to that karate stance, because these guys in the 155 division are way too elite for you to just march straight forward and expect to pick them off. It's just not going to fly anymore. Guys like Justin Gaethje and Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira are going to light Conor the fuck up like he's a Christmas tree if he's just going to be stoic and march straight forward. I want you guys to check out this clip of the Jose Aldo fight and how he sets up the counter punch to land that big left hand, which ultimately ended the fight.
Trunks for the southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr.
Conor relaxed and smiling. Oh!
Just left.
As you saw in that clip, Conor McGregor's ability to counterpunch is what won him that fight. Jose Aldo was loading up, and that chin was exposed, and Conor was just able to bang, get to him before Jose Aldo was able to land a big shot. Conor got clipped in that exchange, but the damage was already done. Conor was so fast to the target, and that's what got him that knockout against Jose Aldo. That Jose Aldo victory was without a doubt one of Conor McGregor's best performances in the UFC. But an even more impressive performance was when he beat Eddie Alvarez to capture the 155 belt. I'm going to show you guys a clip right now of the finish of that fight, and you'll get to see every time Eddie moved forward and tried to land shots, Conor was so elusive and so quick to the punch. Eddie throws a shot, and Conor immediately slips it and bangs that left hand down the pipe. It's extremely impressive, but that's all set up by that side karate stance, and his elusiveness gives him the ability to counter the shots coming forward. If he's going to continue to be stoic, you're going to continue to see Conor McGregor get pieced up. Conor McGregor's performance against Eddie Alvarez was absolutely masterful. In my opinion, that was the best Conor McGregor has ever looked in the UFC. Eddie Alvarez at the time was one of the best fighters in the UFC, and he absolutely picked him apart. Eddie has victories over Justin Gaethje, Rafael dos Anjos, and a myriad of other fighters. Eddie is a great fighter, but Conor McGregor's elusiveness and his quick shots, getting to the target quickly, set up by his elusiveness, is what got him the victory in this fight. So, what do you guys think? You think Conor McGregor is going to actually go back to this karate stance, the stance that made him so successful? Or do you think he's going to stick to that kind of very stoic, very stiff, I'm just going to throw punches at you and I'm going to hope I land before you do? And I think Conor also needs to mix in those head kicks, like he did against Cowboy Cerrone. His performances against Dustin Poirier left a lot to be desired. I think Conor thought his power and his ability to put on size he was going to be able to bully Dustin Poirier. But Dustin's skill set is way too high to get bullied. Dustin is so successful in the pocket and just by staying calm and picking Conor apart. Every time Conor was loading up with the left hand and loading up with the jab, Dustin Poirier saw those shots coming from a mile away and was able to keep it tight and just bang, bang, bang and light up Conor McGregor. I hope he's able to get back to what made him so successful, but I think by putting on all this size, Conor already has a bad gas tank. So I think him getting bigger is actually going to be worse for his career. Luckily, Michael Chandler's gas tank is not the best either, so I don't really see this fight lasting too much farther into the second round. I think by the beginning of the second round, either Conor or Michael Chandler is going to be able to take over the fight, and I doubt it sees a third round. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the MMA Business Hour. We're almost at 2,500 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, leave some comments down below so we can engage in conversation about whether or not we think Conor McGregor is going to get back to what made him so successful. Thank you, and we'll catch you guys on the next fight.